Again, we'll make space now for if people want to share their experience, or if you have any questions.
I guess it's more of a comment than a question. It's sort of a combination of the last two exercises. It seems when I go into a space of not thinking, no thought, what's left for me is pure sensation. Instead of being wrapped up in thought, it's like I'm looking at and I'm seeing, like right now, I might see the painting, I might see the wall, I see you, etc. But it's just when I drop thought out of the way, then I'm just left in a feeling of pure physical sensations.
That's great. We can experience. That's what I love about being with Jasmine, because she just looks around. I don't know if there's any thoughts going on or not, but there's no need to analyze what she's seeing. That's my sense, or that's what she's teaching me. Whether she's doing that or not, I don't know. But I see her just looking around, and she's taught me to do that. So now I look around without any thought, and life's so beautiful. It's because that's typically what the mind wants to do, is judge everything. And by judging it and making that separate or bad, again, it creates that energy that allows it to feed and stay alive. And so by doing that, practicing that, just observing life without having any thought about it, allows you to connect to that, and you feel that inner vibration within you. That would be the goal or the outcome of that, of practicing presence. And then before we begin, or whatever the next question is, let's just be aware that you can listen. Actually, as I'm talking right now, I have my awareness on my feet, so I can feel the inner vibration in my feet right now, even as I'm talking. So as Eckhart says, one of the goals is not to give yourself completely to form, or completely to the mind, in a sense. I can still sit here and talk and listen to you, but at the same time, be aware of this vibration in my feet or my body, and be connected to that. So therefore, this feeling I'm connected to, or this vibration I'm connected to, is an anchor that keeps the thought grounded. So I'm actually listening without trying to create an answer to what you're saying. I'm just listening from that state of connected to this field of resonance. And you can talk and listen. So as you're sitting there listening to me, you can actually be aware of this inner vibration in your hand or feet, but still be actively listening to me and understanding what I'm saying, and at the same time be connected to that. And that would be one of the other practices in life, is to, no matter what you're doing throughout your day, you can have part of your awareness on your inner body and be fully engaged with what you're doing. And by doing that, you give what you're doing, you're listening or you're speaking, a quality of presence. So even now for the rest of the talk, you can practice that when you become aware of that. And even if you have to stop listening for a second to connect to that, please do. And connect to that feeling within connect to your inner body. And notice how you can do both. And it improves the quality of your listening or talking. Do you have a question?
I don't understand, but I've been getting increasingly uncomfortable. I came in feeling pretty decent. I've been feeling increasingly uncomfortable physically, resisting things, and not really sure why.
This field of presence, or this field of negativity in a sense, or this vibrational frequency that isn't presence within you, is not good or bad, it's not right or wrong. It's just, as Eckhart says, it's a living entity, just like any other living entity in the universe. And it wants to live. How it lives is by creating resistance. How it lives is by creating more pain. So as Eckhart says, as you begin this path of presence, it's not allowing this pain body to live. So it's going to resist. And the more you become present, the more it resists. That's the phenomena behind it. So if you think it's been tricky and sly so far, wait till you start being more present. It's really, I mean, this is almost like the, what do they call those people in Iraq, the resistance? They call them the insurgents. It will take on insurgent qualities at any means possible because it's trying to survive. And it's not good or bad. It's not right or wrong. It's trying to survive. And when you start to create more presence, it starts to die. So it's going to attack, and it's going to resist, and it's going to use any situation it can to get you to identify with it. And then it builds itself back up again. And that's why Eckhart calls this pain body, which can either be dormant or active. When it feels your state of presence is going that way, it's going to react. Whether it's traffic or another person or just sitting there complaining about something. I don't want to be here right now in this room or whatever or what this person is saying doesn't mean it's dumb or whatever it is. It doesn't matter what I'm saying even. If you're resisting to it, that is what it's doing. It's creating that frequency within you that it can feed on.
So any different way of dealing with it? I mean, when it comes up that strong or just...
Well, typically when it comes up that strong, you didn't have a degree of presence to stop it from doing that. So therefore you can't do anything about it. So surrender. And even though it's unpleasant, even though it's maybe painful, even though you know that it's keeping you from advancing on your path, it's there. It's what is in this moment. And by resisting it, by saying, oh, I don't want to be unconscious, I don't want to be reacting, it's that same unconsciousness reacting. So just surrender to it over and over and over again. And as your degree of presence elevates, soon when that, just because this is part of what the pain body is, and just an example I have in my own life. When I was in high school, there was I was in the lunchroom. There was like 500 people in the lunchroom, and I finished my lunch, and I was taking my tray up to the counter, and there was like a little hamburger pickle on the floor, and I slipped on it, just as if I slipped on ice. I went straight down on the ground, made a loud crash. Tray went up into the air, came down, pow, pang, ping, made all this noise. And when I stood up, the whole lunchroom was staring at me. And this is a teenager in high school. If you can imagine the sheer embarrassment. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm embarrassed. It was like, this constriction and tightness. And it was a field of energy that was being created. And there's a memory with that. And so 10 years later, something would trigger that memory, and I wouldn't just sit there and think about it. I would feel it. It would be, and that's the pain body feeding. And I wouldn't, and it would bring up more thoughts. Oh, if I would have done something different, if I would have, it ruined my opportunity to do this, or God, that never happened. And that might go on for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. And again, all that's doing is allowing this pain body to feed. So after I came across the power of now, I was like, oh, that's what that is. So when I had this thought, it'd come up, and I couldn't control it because its power was so strong. But what I had was awareness. And so I might have been unconscious for maybe 10, 15 minutes, but then I was like, oh, there it was. That was the pain body, all those thoughts. Just be aware of it, surrender, let it go. Then it would come up again because it uses this. And everyone has those situations in their life. And that's what that's doing. It's using those experiences that had a strong charge to gain control again. So it would come up and I'd bring my awareness into it. And soon the time that I would be unconscious began to shorten. Where soon when it came up, I was aware that it was there and there was a charge there. But now it's to the point where when the thought comes up, I would simply be present to it. And there was no reaction to it. So, in a sense, I've dissolved the charge that was in that thought. The only thing is, though, once the mind knows that one's no longer useful, it just goes and finds another situation in your life. And so you can practice those, and it's good to practice dissolving those situations. But ultimately, just by being present and practicing presence, whenever a thought comes up, there's no reaction to it. So that's the goal behind just a general practice of presence. And it's good to dissolve those specific memories when they come up, but just know your mind's going to go to another situation. Or it's going to react to something happening in the present moment, to traffic, or whatever might be happening. Whatever it can react to and cause resistance and that vibrational frequency that it can feed on, it will do.